Hi, Dion Johnson here. I'm a Master Executive Coach, an international speaker, and women's leadership development expert. And today's message is called The Difference a Woman Makes. Now, this message is for you if you are a woman of influence, a woman in senior leadership somewhere in the global marketplace, and you still care. You still care about the difference that you make in your organization, in your industry, and ultimately in your world through your role as a senior leader. And you perceive that there's more for you to be, more for you to do, more for you to create or to give or express or experience as a woman leader and change maker. So this is for you if you are a conscientious woman of influence. And I've got a question for you. The question is, what does it mean to be a woman? Think about that for a minute. What does it really mean to be a woman, especially a woman in leadership? Now, if you know anything at all about me, you'll know that my work is really highly rooted in supporting women in senior leadership to up their influence and to make more difference without sabotaging their health or their what I call energy or their enthusiasm on the way, during the process. So the key to this, I find, is what I call radical authenticity. And authenticity, if you think of authenticity as being the real you, the question has to be, how do you be the real you as a woman? How do you be a woman? And I've been asking this question for the last 5 years, both to myself on my own very, very personal leadership and life journey, and also the women that I serve, women in senior leadership all around the UK and internationally. And here's what I've realized from their answers and my answers, that many women have never really ever asked themselves what it means to be a woman. And the other thing I've seen is that we don't really know the answer. We're not really sure what it means to be a woman. And the other thing that I've seen time and time again is that the question of what it means to be a woman is kind of a scary one, feels a bit risky. It kind of creates a little discomfort. It's kind of a question that we kind of back away from. We don't really want to get, it feels a bit taboo. And that's got me curious. Just yesterday I was having a conversation in a coaching session with one of my clients, and I had to capture what she said. It was really, really powerful. She said, in the answer to the question, what does it mean to her to be a woman? She said, I've become asexual in my thinking. Same with race. Maybe because of the fight for equality, but my mind draws a blank when it comes to thinking about what it really means to be a woman. I don't know what it means, and I'm not sure that I've ever known. When she said this, I knew that it was gold. I knew I needed to capture it because it was echoed over the last 5 years. I've heard this sentiment time and time again. She's not the only one. Towards the end of last year, I facilitated a masterclass at one of the London universities, and the participants were senior leading women on a program aimed to develop their capacity to serve on executive boards. The course was called Authentic Women of Influence. Well, that was what my session was called, Authentic Women of Influence. And we spoke about this question of, if you're going to be authentic, it means to be showing up as the real you. And if you're going to be showing up as a real you, then that means showing up as a woman. And so we were asking the question, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to show up as a woman, to be a woman? And shall I tell you what? There were 3 kind of really loud sentiments in the room. One was, yes, I'm a woman, but I'm not going to let that stop me. As if being a woman was some kind of drawback, some kind of hindrance, some kind of a burden. And the second sentiment that I heard really loud in the room was, well, I'm no different. There's no difference between me and my male colleagues. Like, being a woman doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And the third sentiment that I heard in that room was, well, if I showed up as a woman, in fact, one woman actually said these words to me, if I really showed up as the woman that I really am, I'd be eaten alive for breakfast. And she said it with a deadpan face. She really meant it. That if she ever let her femininity, her womanliness show in her leadership role, that she would be at a disadvantage. She would be in a weak place. She'd be in a risky place. That really took my breath away when she said that. So I think there's definitely room to talk about this topic some more, and definitely room to improve the way we feel and think about being women in senior leadership. So the question that I'm asking is, what is the difference that a woman makes? Like I said, I've been considering this personally and professionally for a number of years now, and I'm convinced that there really is a difference. I'm convinced that the difference is rooted in many things. It's not. Here's what I don't think it is. I don't think it's the way we dress. I don't think it's necessarily the way we talk. It's not a mannerism or a tone. I think the difference that we make is a calling, that we have the capacity to think with our hearts. Think about that for a minute. That we have the capacity to think with our hearts, that we process differently. We can process lots of different data simultaneously at a very deep level. We know, in a knowing place inside of us, the unknowable. Now, some people will call this intuition. I call it being spirit-led. And I've seen and come to the conclusion that this is a really phenomenal gift that we, particularly as women, have. It reminds me of this story that really happened when I was probably about 10 or maybe a bit older, maybe 12 years old. And I remember one evening being at home and the phone ringing, and it was my mum. And she said, "Hi, I'm at your auntie's." My auntie lived about a mile away. And I'm on my way home. But let me tell you, I've got this feeling like something bad is going to happen on the way home. I've got this feeling like I'm in danger somehow. And I'd love for you to come and meet me. So my cousins and I and my sister, we got our coats on, and we all, in a group, started walking towards my mum, and she was walking towards home. And lo and behold, it was like breathtaking, because there we happened upon this woman on the pavement, on the floor, looking really distressed, and it was my mum. And she'd been attacked. She was ready for it, though. She'd sort of given a good fight, and the attacker ran off without taking her bag like he tried to do. But it really took my breath away. I pondered that for a long time, and I wondered, how did my mum know that was going to happen? How did she know? Another story I want to tell you about this capacity to know the unknowable, to see the unseeable, that we as women really do possess. And it's about this earring. It's about these earrings. And I bought my mum a pair of these earrings, these exact same earrings. And we were in Jamaica, and my family and I were going swimming at the beach. And I put these earrings in, and because they matched my outfit. And then when we got to the beach, I took off my outfit and had my swimming costume on, and I went into the sea to swim, and I forgot that I had these earrings in. And as I was swimming, I was doing the backstroke, and as I was swimming, I did this, and I felt my arm brush this earring out of my ear. Oh my God, I remember that I had my mum's earrings in, and I stood to my feet, and I started wading around trying to find the earring, but the water was really choppy, and the sand and the seabed was really being stirred up by the choppy waters, and so the water wasn't clear at all, and I couldn't see, and I was feeling around for this earring. I was searching to find it, desperate to find it, because it wasn't mine, it was my mum's, and I just couldn't. Soon, the people around me, there were some guys over there and some people over there, and they all saw me looking, and they came over and asked me what was wrong, and I told them that my earring had fallen out. And then for about the next half an hour, me and all these people were wading through the water, trying really hard to find this earring, and it just wasn't happening. And so eventually one guy came, held me by my shoulders, looked me square in the face and said, "You know what, Dion, I think you're going to have to let go. This earring is gone." And I agreed that, you know, the chances of me finding this earring now was really unlikely, and that I needed to stop looking for it. Well, that kind of messed up my day. I got out of the sea and I was really feeling low. I was feeling a bit afraid, actually. I didn't want to tell my mum that I'd taken her earring so sillily into the water and lost it. And but I did. I gave her a call and I said, "Mum, you know, I've lost your earring." And she said, "Oh, darling, don't worry. You know, it's just an earring. If as long as you're okay." Blah, blah, blah. And that was the end of that. So my talk with my mum really helped me to cheer up a bit. And you know, I felt the relief, and so just carried on having a nice afternoon with my family at the beach until it started to get dark. And the taxi driver, our driver, said, you know, it's time for us to leave now because it's getting dark. We don't want night to catch us here on the beach. There's no lighting, so let's get out now. So we got ready. We started to put our clothes on. I started to put my outfit back on, and as I was putting it on, I heard a voice say to me, "Go back and get your earring. Go back into the water and get your earring." At first I thought I was imagining it, but then I heard it again. "Go back into the water and get your earring." So I've been on this journey of learning to hear this voice and hearken to the voice, listen to the voice. And so, you know what? I thought, what have I got to lose? I'm going to do it. So I called to my family and said, "Hold on a minute, I'm coming." And I started taking my clothes off. They said, "What are you doing?" And the taxi driver was getting irritated at this point. He's saying, "Come on, we need to get off the beach." But I felt this pulling, this drawing to go back into the water. And all the way walking down into the getting off the beach and into the water, I felt myself questioning and doubting, like, what am I doing? This is nuts. But I carried on walking until I felt like stopping, until I was on my tiptoes where I couldn't stand up on the seabed anymore. And then I put my head into the water like this. And I looked down. The water was much clearer then. I looked down and I saw my earring. I saw this earring standing up like this, wavering in under the current of the water, just like it was saying, "Come and get me." I had to dive a bit because we were quite deep out. And I dived down, picked up the earring and held it in the air like this. And I could see from that distance, I could see my family's face. I could see that everybody had their mouths open with awe, couldn't believe that I'd actually gotten this earring out of the sea after all day of losing it. Well, that changed my life, that event. That changed my life and helped me to understand the power of following this voice, this inner prompting, this inner guide that knows things that I couldn't possibly know in my natural senses. And that's really important. I think it's really important. Now, I think it's a woman thing. I know that men can do this too. I know that there are men who are intuitive too, men who are creative too. And I'm not saying at all that only women can do it, but here's what I believe. I believe that this gift is particularly given to women, that we are stewards, custodians of this gift, and that we're wired for it. I think we're called to be masters of this gift. And you know what? I don't think we can have self-development without the woman piece, without developing this woman gift that we have. Women of influence must reconnect or connect for the very first time to the woman part of being a woman of influence. I really think this is a powerful thing. And I think there's a business case for this. I mean, just think about this. Just consider the season that we find ourselves in the world right now. Donald Trump has just been elected President of the United States. We've got Theresa May as our Prime Minister here in the UK. Politically, the world is incredulous. Watching the news is really, it could be funny if it wasn't so serious. There's so much going on in our world. Consider the problems that's going on in your industry right now. Consider the issues that you're facing in your department or in your organization. We've got problems that are old problems that are getting worse and worse, inequalities that are getting wider, gaps that are getting much, much wider. We've got new problems arising. We've got old problems that are being newly exposed. Things that were hidden are now coming to light. Confusion and corruption and all kinds of things happening around us that we need new solutions for. We need new ideas. We need new insights. We need new ways and approaches to manage all that we're dealing with at such a time as this. We need new answers in our departments, in our organizations, in our industries, and ultimately in our world. So just imagine for a minute if we could find a way to strategically tap into this feminine insight, this feminine knowing, this feminine way of receiving insight in the marketplace. Imagine if we could bring this to senior leadership. Imagine if we could tap in to this powerful gift to know, to find new ways forward, to understand the inexplicable, to see what's not yet visible. I'm telling you, when I think about it, it's exciting to me. And I think in order for that to happen, we need to stop apologizing for being women. We need to stop hiding, stop suppressing and depressing that inner woman. And instead, we need to begin to nurture her, nurture that authentic feminine expression of our inner woman, as if we understood her relevance and the need for her influence in today's marketplace, in today's season, into the culture of today's world. I think it's the missing link. So the question that I have in this short video is, how do you nurture your inner woman? I mean, do you know her? Are you connected to her? Are you engaged with her? Do you allow her to express? I've got I think there are 3 points that I have to help you get started in nurturing your own inner woman. Look, the way that I see it is that we've got a long way before the power of this gift is openly welcomed and acknowledged in our marketplace. We've got a long way to go before that's happening, but we need to teach it. We need to teach the marketplace how to honor our womanly gifts. And it starts with us honoring our womanly gifts. It starts with us nurturing it. It starts with us acknowledging it, embracing it, and getting it ready, preparing it for use in the global marketplace in new and exciting ways. So if you agree with me and you are ready to get nurturing and uncovering and unleashing your inner woman, here's what you need to do. First of all, you need to give yourself permission. You need to give yourself permission to be different, to think differently, to be womanly. It's not a bad idea. It's not a drawback. It's not a weakness. It's not an impediment. It's your greatest strength. The fact that you are a woman in leadership, the woman bit is the most important part of that sentence, in my opinion. So give yourself permission to express her, to get to know her, to see her, to reconnect with her. And then I want you to practice pondering. Practice thinking about what you think about. Master the art of deep and slow thinking. Slow your thinking down. Give yourself space to look over a conversation that you've had, or look over an issue that you're dealing with in your department in a slower way. Put down the cultural norms and take up your unique way of looking at the world and look at these problems and these issues and these challenges that are real for you right now. So practice pondering. Perhaps you will journal. Perhaps you will speak openly and differently and uniquely with a friend or a colleague or a partner or a coach even. Just practice pondering. And the third thing that I suggest that you do if you want to start to nurture your inner woman is to pamper her. Feed your feminine. I know that for many women, it is about music and movement and dancing. Our bodies are meant to move. For others, it is going out in nature. Or for me, it's like having a really good cup of tea or wine, or being being in a quiet place, being in a green place, being able to communicate with God, to pray, to sing, to express myself, to allow myself to flow. So whatever it is for you is different to everybody else. You just find what you call pampering, what pampering means to you, and then feed your feminine, feed yourself. I'm convinced that we have to start to embrace our woman, our inner woman first, before we can expect the world to understand the power and the business case of having the woman, the intuitive, spiritual, connected woman showing up in our boardrooms and in senior leadership across the globe. But when we do get there, it will be glorious and it will be marvelous. And I'm really hoping that you're inspired to start to think about the difference that you as a woman makes in senior leadership. So until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.